All right, so some of you might have been a little frustrated by the four finger weaving, and so we've got another version that we can try with just two fingers. This can go a little bit faster. Sometimes you want to make like a skinnier scarf, or maybe you want to make something like an accent for a crochet project later. And so we're just going to show you two finger. So I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to start with my end of my yarn. I'm going to hold that between my thumb and my palm. And then I'm going to go behind my pointer finger, around my middle finger. Normally it would keep going, but just to keep it simpler, we're just going to go around two fingers. So around the middle finger and back. And I've got one loop on each finger. We'll get these two fingers out of the way. You can park them over here, you can park them over there. I'm going to go again, just like so. I'm going to let my working yarn trail off to the side of my pointer finger. And I'm going to take, there's only two loops. You can check two loops on two fingers. If I look behind, I've got two loops on two fingers and I've got my working yarn just trailing off the side. So palm up is the nice way to do this. I'm going to take the bottom loop, I'm going to scoop it off. Scoop it off. And that's one. Pull my ends, make sure that nothing gets too out of control there. And I'm going to do it again. Behind, in front, behind, in front. Bottom loop goes over the top loop. The trick for this project is that you really pull this off to the side so it's tighter. Go around again. Bottom loop goes over the top. Bottom loop goes over the top. Tighten everything up. Now, eventually you're going to get these loops on the back. You can start to tug on them like a slingshot. And that's going to help organize your loops. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Behind, around the middle finger, and then in front the pointer. And then only two. Got to make sure that you only have two loops on your fingers. Bottom loop always goes over the top loop. Around the middle finger and then back around the pointer finger. I've got two loops. Bottom loop goes over and off behind. And I'll keep going. Okay, at some point I don't have to hold on to my tail anymore, so I can let that drop off to the side. Behind and front, behind and front. 1, 2, 1, 2. Bottom loop goes over and behind. Bottom loop goes over and behind. Snug up your working yarn and do it again. So you're going to go again till you get 10 or 15. I guess we're going 15 to 20 of these things. If you ever wonder how many of these things you've got done, you can count. So if I look at each loop, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got 11 done. These little loops, these little V's are called legs. So right here on the side of my fingers, these are each called legs. And there's a front leg and a back leg. It's knitting talk. Okay, so you can count the legs. So I'll keep going. 12. Tighten my working yarn. Bottom over top. Bottom over top. 13. 14. And there's 15. And keep going, you can go 20 or so. And then just like before, if I wanted to, I could pick these things up. I'll use a pen this time. I could pick this up, slide up, slide up. I could maybe hook it underneath this part of the pen cap. Throw this in a bag, go walk my dog, whatever. And then when I come back, I can pick this up. I want to make sure that the yarn is behind. I'm going to put it back on my 2 fingers. Snug everything up. And then I can keep going. Okay. And then just like before, if you did 2 or 3 fingers, we're going to grab our ruler and we'll lay this out. I've got 14, looks like I got about 14 inches of finger knitting. So I would take a picture of that, and I'd probably add a few more stitches to get over 15, since we're looking for 15 inches of knit chain. Okay, so that is 2 finger. I'm going to undo this really quick. And I won't make you watch the whole thing, but I do want to show you if there's 3 finger, if you wanted to. Same thing, you're going to get the hang of this now. I'm going to hang this over 1, 2, 3 fingers, behind and front, behind and front. Keep going until each finger has got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 loops. Bottom loop over the top loop. Snug it up. Continue the pattern. Okay, so this is like a really foundational part of weaving, of knitting, sorry. This idea that we have these needles, or pegs. In this case, your fingers are the knitting needles, or your fingers are the pegs. And that we're going to wrap around, and then we're going to slide a loop off of a needle. Slide a loop off of a peg. Slide a loop off of a finger. And then we're going to stack more loops on top of your needles, on top of your fingers, on top of your pegs. Okay? This sort of series of stacked loops, one stacked on top of the other, is what gives us our knitting. So we can kind of see, I'll let that go now. So I'm starting my 3 finger, okay? So that's another way. So you would keep on going if you wanted to do 3 instead of 2. Now, because we're just learning, one of the things we're always going to do to protect our resources is we're going to undo our yarn and we're going to reball it up so we can be ready for the next assignment.